Whether it's college or high school, the fall is just around the corner, and it's time for that semester refresh. You are about to get super organized and be ahead of your classmates this semester. I've got 10 solid tips for you with additional bonus tips on how you can be the best organized student, the important parts of your syllabus, the best way to take notes, my secret weapon to get through those tough days, prepping for challenging classes, the social media feed that works, what to do when you're feeling deflated and unmotivated. I've got your back. Why listen to me? I've been a professional student for years, doing homework for college students since I was 16 in high school. That's right, that was my side hustle. I know what it takes to get the grades we all want, and it starts with organizing. Hey friends, welcome to RaysaOver30, where we show up even when life is messy. Let's roll. Before you register for classes, do this first. What you want to do is search for the class that you're going to take. Look at the list of the professors that teach that class and search for them at ratemyprofessors.com. You don't want an unmotivating, uninteresting, unresponsive professor that is also a tough grader. You don't want that. So set yourself up for success. Rate My Profs will give you a ton of information about that professor, such as level of difficulty, if there is one, the type of assignments you'll have, how many exams and what kind, plus more. You'll also see sprinkled in commentary from students who have already experienced a course with that professor, and this will help you a lot in your planning. And of course, after you finish taking that class with that professor, help your corner of the world, do your future fellow students a favor, and put in your own rating and commentary regarding that professor. Tip number two is to decide how you want to access your information on the go. You may have time in your schedule where you are just waiting. Maybe you're in a lobby, you're in a waiting room, whatever it may be. You have time to review, let's say, the parameters for an upcoming assignment. And you want to have that information with you at all times, just in case you're just waiting somewhere. How would you like to have that content available to you? Would you like to have a physical planner or a digital planner where you can store all this information? If you are considering a digital planner, just keep in mind, are you able to have that with you wherever you go on the go? I used to work at a call center where I could not have any digital devices with me at all due to HIPAA compliance. So my digital devices were of no use for me. I was huge on paper back then. I had to have my paper planner, paper notebooks, etc. Consider how you want your information to be available to you on the go. Tip number three, what calendar program are you using? Some people prefer Google Calendar, other people prefer Apple Calendar. I use both. For example, at work, we use only Google products, Gmail, Google Calendar, Gemini, Google Tasks, etc. At home, I prefer to streamline my family with Apple ecosystem. That way, whenever I'm setting up a chores list, I can assign the particular task or line item to a particular person as long as that list is shared with them. I use Apple Calendar for all of our calendaring and events at home. Regardless of the calendar provider that you choose, what you want to do is subscribe to your student Canvas calendar. I used to spend countless hours entering in all of the assignments, due dates, key dates into a separate calendar that I would create. But that was really time consuming, especially when I had to do it not just for one class, but three, four, five other classes. Why reinvent the wheel? Just subscribe to the student Canvas calendar that's there. It will have all that information in there for you. What I do recommend is that if you have in person classes, set up an additional calendar for your classes. You can just do one and outline in that calendar the different days that you have these different classes. Make sure that you have in there the important information, such as the class name, the date, the time that it'll start, and also the building and room number. Depending on the calendar provider that you choose, you may be able to attach your syllabus to the class event also and make it a recurring event. That way, it's repeated each week. You can even set up the end date with the day or last day of the class, which is what I do. Tip number 4, set up and organize your files. Make a choice as to where you want to save all of your files from this point forward. Make sure that it'll be a storage system that is accessible to you always. I know some people prefer to store their files in Google, but I think they only give you about 15 megabytes for free. So I have more storage on my iCloud. I save stuff there. You will have 1 terabyte available, I believe, in Outlook for free. So just make a choice as to where you want to save your files digitally. I recommend setting up one folder for each semester, and each semester should have subfolders, one folder for each class. Be sure to title these folders appropriately. Title the initial folder in the hierarchy as Summer Semester 2025 or Summer 2025, Fall 2025. Title them appropriately. Then, those subfolders, make sure you do title those class folders appropriately too. Sometimes I have to recall for whatever reason, situation, which class, name, number, and section that I'm in. And it helps to know that I have that information already in my hierarchy of storage folders. Here is a bonus tip that makes professors favor me. Whenever I'm emailing a professor, in the subject line, I always start with the brief topic of what I'm going to be writing to them about. Then I put a space dash space, and that's where I put in the course name or the abbreviation, the number, and the section. The reason that professors love this is because some of my professors, they teach more than one course at the same school, and it helps them to immediately identify me and what class I'm in so that they are better prepared to answer my question. In addition to this, bonus tip 2, I strongly recommend to show up and show out to your professor. Whenever you have an assignment that's due, one thing they love that I do is that I will put the assignment title, name, whatever, space dash space, my name, space dash space, and then the course abbreviation, number, and section. Professors love this. They immediately think that my assignments are official because of just the way I title them. It can be the most mundane secondary things that impress the professors. Tip number 5, download your syllabi and read them. Your syllabi will have important information in there, not just about the class, but also the professor. Pertaining to the class, the syllabi will let you know what assignments you'll be expected to complete, what type of assignments they are, the exams you may or may not have, whether those exams are proctored or not. You know why we want to know. The syllabi will also let you know the professor's preferences. For example, I had a professor that did not allow computers to be open in her class at all and no headphones either. For that particular class, I made sure to come prepared with my A5 planner that has a notebook section in there. I would later take photos of my notebook pages and just save them on my storage drive so I had them digitally and not just written down on paper. The syllabi will also have information letting you know whether or not that professor will allow recordings or what type of writing format they prefer for you to write in, whether it's MLA, APA, Chicago style, etc. Bonus tip. If your syllabus is not available online for you to view, you can email your professor. Be sure you use the titling sequence that I laid out for you earlier in your subject line and ask that professor for a copy of the syllabus. You can write something such as, I know this is so unorthodox, but I am so eager for your class that I'd like to get a head start. May I have a copy of the syllabus, please? I checked and I don't see it available online. They love this. They'll eat it up. Be on the lookout. Your professor may not exactly email you back, but they'll post that syllabus publicly early, or they may email a copy over to you. Tip number 6: how are you going to take notes? Digital note taking is better than paper. This is how you win. You're not wasting money on paper and notebooks year after year. You're not hoarding a bunch of notebooks that you don't even feel like going back to review because you don't feel like finding the notebook. Instead, invest in an iPad. I invested in this. My first iPad was one that I got refurbished from the Apple refurbished website that they have, and I got it for less than $300. It was just something to start with that I needed. Once I started receiving scholarships, that's when I decided to upgrade the iPad. And I do recommend that you get an iPad that can carry iOS 18 or later. I used to get tired of carrying so many notebooks, my paper planner, my laptop, plus textbooks in my book bag. Quite heavy. Once I got an iPad, I was able to decrease the amount of bulk luggage I was carrying with me all the time because I am on the go a lot. On the iPad, I can have my class notes in Noteful. I used to use GoodNotes, now I'm on Noteful. It contains my digital planner, calendar, and it is my computer. Or at least it'll lessen the bulk of having to carry all of those items physically. And I know what you're thinking, but Ray, everyone says I should be writing with my hand, not typing. I know. I totally agree with that. I love writing on my iPad. I still write by hand. I just don't like to do it right on the iPad screen. And this is not a promotion, but I did buy a matte screen protector from the ESR store on Amazon for less than $15. It has lasted more than a year and I love it. And it does feel like paper. Do not buy the paper like fake paper. $50 wasted. I'm still mad about that. If you want to know why I don't like the paper like screen protector, let me know in the comments and I'll be sure to do a video about that. Bonus tip: learn from my mistakes. I have now learned that I do want to save my notes in case I am taking a similar or a variation of a course later on in my academic career. For example, I took statistics last semester, but it will not be the last time that I take statistics. That will be a large part of my education, especially before I enter grad school, since I will be seeking a research based doctorate. What I do is that after I finish the semester, I export my notes, or you can do it lesson by lesson, chapter by chapter, or week by week. I just did it at the end of the semester. I export all of my notes from whatever note taking app I'm using. I was using GoodNotes before. Like I said, I'm using Noteful now, which still allows you to export. And I'll show you here how I still have notes from my statistics class, which I happen to like the way that professor taught some of those concepts. I know I want to review that later. Bonus tip: if you're looking for a reliable digital planner or even a student planner, an academic planner, I recommend going to K Digital Studio. She has the most wonderful products. And if there are ever any slight hiccups, just email her solutions email and she takes care of those problems as soon as possible. But I haven't had any major issues with hers. In fact, her products are the only ones that have not crashed on me. They don't lag at all, so I can take notes seamlessly while I'm recording my professor's lectures. I strongly recommend K Digital Studio. I have used other people's planners before or digital notebooks, and they end up making the app crash, which I thought it was the app, and emailed the app and took videos and emailed support with those videos, did everything they wanted me to do, jump through hoops. In the end, I just tried switching notebooks to K Digital Studio and all the issues I had went away. So I strongly recommend using K Digital Studio products. It's very affordable if you're just looking to spend on something one time a year and get the undated versions. That way you can continue to use them year after year. I think the most I've ever spent was $20. Bonus tip: if you're looking for a reliable digital planner or even a student planner, an academic planner, I recommend going to K Digital Studio. She has the most wonderful products. And if there are ever any slight hiccups, just email her solutions email and she takes care of those problems as soon as possible. But I haven't had any major issues with hers. In fact, her products are the only ones that have not crashed on me. They don't lag at all, so I can take notes seamlessly while I'm recording my professor's lectures. I strongly recommend K Digital Studio. I have used other people's planners before or digital notebooks, and they end up making the app crash, which I thought it was the app, and emailed the app and took videos and emailed support with those videos, did everything they wanted me to do, jump through hoops. In the end, I just tried switching notebooks to K Digital Studio and all the issues I had went away. So I strongly recommend using K Digital Studio products. It's very affordable if you're just looking to spend on something one time a year and get the undated versions. That way you can continue to use them year after year. I think the most I've ever spent was $20. Quick intermission. If you've hung in this far, thank you so much. If you don't mind just taking less than 5 seconds to give this video a thumbs up, that'll really help me out a lot. That will also let me know that I'm on the right track as far as making content for you. If you want to help even further, please leave a comment below letting me know what you're doing to prep for the upcoming semester and what tips and tricks you have that'll help the rest of us. Thank you so much. Please like, subscribe, share. And now for my secret weapon. I'm a regular person. I go to work, school, gym, grocery shopping, back home. I cook, I clean, I have to do homework. I'm constantly on the go. I have days where I am completely exhausted and depleted of energy. Some of those days are class days. I have a survival plan, and part of that survival plan is recording lectures. And what that does is give me and my brain space to breathe. I always show up for class. Remember, showing up is 88% of life. The rest happens when you get there. So I show up. And while I don't have the energy or mental capacity to take a ton of notes, what I do instead is that I let the lecture be recorded and I listen to it again the next morning. To record lectures, I use Apple Notes. I believe it started in iOS 18 last year in September, where the Notes app has the ability to record and also transcribe any recording. I love that feature. Learn from my mistake. I used to use GoodNotes to record my class lectures without realizing that I could not export those recordings. And I have to be in GoodNotes in the particular notebook in order for me to be able to listen to the recording. And that just wasn't convenient for me. Sometimes I do like to listen on the go or in the car or on my lunch break at work. I want to be able to have it easily accessible. I use Noteful for note taking now, and Noteful does allow you to do recordings and also export those recordings, which is great. The only thing I have not seen it do is transcribe, which is why I use Apple Notes still for the recording of lectures and transcriptions, which Apple Notes lets you export both or even put in the transcription in the actual note instead of in a blurb, which I love. No matter what, make sure you choose a system that allows you to export those notes and save them to your school folders. Tip number 8: review course material before the semester begins. Now, I typically only do this for challenging courses. For example, statistics last semester was very challenging for me. What I did was that I found websites that apparently give you textbook material for free, such as OpenStax or Open Textbook Library. There might be more. Those are just the two that I've used so far. I downloaded those textbooks, added them to my iPad, and used it as reading material while I was on Christmas break before the semester started. I'm so glad I did this. Access your syllabus, which will let you know what you will be learning each week in the course, or generally the concepts or objectives that you'll be learning. You can use that to figure out the material that you should be reviewing. Once the semester begins, you will have already been prepared for your first few weeks of class. While everyone else is still trying to figure out what's going on in week one, two, and three, you're already ready for week five. This puts you ahead of the game. Tip number 9, clean your scroll feed. We've all been there. You know it's time to study, but you decide, let me go make myself a snack. Let me get myself a nice cool drink. And while I'm doing that, I might be scrolling on my phone or listening to videos. It would be wise for you to set up a separate YouTube account, for example. You switch over to that account when you know it's game time. It's time to get your mind set on studying or doing homework. What you'll do is that on this separate account, you will search for the videos that will get you motivated to do homework. And you can use that account for any other content that's more academically inclined to get you motivated to do work. And now, the last and most important tip of all, tip number 10. When you're feeling down and unmotivated, remember your why. It is worth it to just take a minute, sit, take a deep breath, and think about why you're in school in the first place. Why are you doing this? What are you hoping to achieve? I know I want to be able to provide for my family. I want a stable job where I don't have to worry if they're going to lay me off. I want job security where I know that if I get laid off from one job, I have a degree that'll help me bounce back and get to more jobs. I want to open my prospects so that I'm able to either work from home, do different types of work, and work with different types of people. Even more, I want to be proud of myself for achieving something that means something to me. If the internet did not exist, what could I offer my community? Remember your why. Here is a very important bonus tip. When you're feeling low and thinking that you have so much more to go, listen up. You are making progress, even if it doesn't seem like it. Here's how you know. Go ahead and pull up your academic program from your school. It'll be in your school catalog or your school website talking about the program you're in, and it lists the classes that you have to take for that program. Take a look to see how many classes you've already taken. That's where you'll see that even if you have moved an inch forward, you're still moving forward. You're on the upward trajectory, and that's what counts. I remember feeling so spent. I felt down on myself. I felt like I have so many more years to go and not having come far enough. I did exactly what I'm advising, where I took a look at the program class requirements, the order in which they're in. I went to see which ones I've already taken, and I realized I'm already halfway through the semester. And I realized I'm already halfway through the program. I'm halfway through my time in school. And that is so exciting. That lifted my spirits and helped me get right back on track. Remind yourself, you're your best cheerleader. So start cheering for yourself. Thanks for hanging in. Like, subscribe, comment, share. Take what you need, leave what you don't. And remember, you're not alone.